Hi, welcome to the 1 Liter Podcast. You will watch us drinking 1 liters of beer whilst talking about shies. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to the 1 Liter.
I love it. Prost.
Like that? The
That
remix?
was sick, dude. That was fucking really cool. Did you see so I'm sending you a lot of interesting stuff on Instagram. I found a website that
And I'm very slow to check it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, bro. No, I'm sorry because I tend to forget that you don't go on Instagram all that much.
But that's
so
fine because then when I do, I have like 5 to watch and I'm like,
oh, really? 5? I thought you'd have at least like 10 or 15 because I'm like, I'm spamming you. But
Nah,
it's
you
not
don't-
spam. It's
you
like
used to
I'll
send
send
me
you
more,
maybe
I reckon.
I'll send you maybe one every 2 days or something.
yeah.
But you may not
more.
check it for like 2
You
weeks.
used to send me more. I feel like you might be doing less Instagramming.
Oh,
that's why.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
I have another Instagram. Sorry to cut. I have another Instagram page that I use, and that's full of like painting and stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I've uploaded
that shit.
I've uploaded like some of my paintings and stuff because I do a bit of there. So like
Plug it
the
in.
whole thing, I've made sure that I don't like anything. So my algorithm is just pure sculpting, painting, and all arts. So that's my main. That's my default. So I'll be on that all day, just scrolling through, getting
Art.
bust. My endorphins are busting, right?
That's
and then
beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
You should follow David's. He's got an art page
No shit.
because he's sketched for years, like in a
I think he
sketchbook.
showed me some of his
Yeah.
work, and I was like, "That's
And we were
impressive."
like, take photos and upload it, and he was like, fine.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to get his handle after this, but fuck yeah, shout out to my boy David Geet. But yeah, so I've got the little icon down there, and sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, you've got messages," and I'll flick over, and I'll be like, "Ugh," and then flick back. So it's nice. Maybe this is like what I'm doing is like the Nicorette patch of
Yeah.
smokers, right? Like it's like I'm not complete endone, right? I'm not
Yeah.
completely getting rid of it, but I'm giving myself.
Endone, like the painkillers.
Oh no, what's the stuff that heroin addicts take, and it's like a little shot of.
Oh, I know the one. Fuck.
It's like endone, right? It's got a name like that.
Yeah.
Something clinic, endo clinic or whatever. But
Fentanyl.
fucking know. Dude, what's the go with? I don't know too much about fentanyl, but it's like killing Americans.
Oh
bro.
yeah, because
People
they
are
think
dropping
it's
like flies.
I think it's because they think it's being sold as something else, and then
Mm.
they're having too much of it, and then they just die. It's
Yeah.
wild, dude.
I actually follow this dude on Instagram. I don't know. I can't remember what his name was. I could put the name here. He's from LA. I think he's like a Latin American dude, and he literally, I'm pretty sure he has like a police.
Oh yeah,
Police radio. He's not like Jake Gyllenhaal from Nightcrawler, but he just goes out and films like drug addicts, like police arresting people and shit. I don't think it's not his mission to incriminate police if they're like using brutality or anything like that. He's just showing you like the mean streets of LA, especially an area called like the Blade or the Razor. I think it's like
Oh.
a lot of like homeless and a lot of like prostitution and crime. And I'm sad to say it's super entertaining.
Oh yeah, this is not the same guy that does he like goes to the most dangerous parts of different cities around the world.
No, he's just LA based.
yeah.
But I mean,
It's-
LA seems like a handful.
Dude, it's so big. So my aunt and uncle live in LA and a few cousins. And when I was there last, did I tell you this story? When I was there last, after all my flight fuck ups and shit from that story, if you want to hear that story, listen to a different episode.
Episode 30 something.
Something, yeah.
32.
How not to travel.
Mm.
After all the fuck ups, I get there, I only get to stay for one night, and then my auntie was dropping me back to the airport at like 5 or 6 a.m. or something stupid early. We get in the car, we start driving, and they live like in a bit of a nice area right next to
Anaheim, right?
upland. So it's like right next to a mountain, basically. And like driving down, we get to like the main road and we get through a few intersections. We get to this intersection and there's just like lights everywhere, like cop lights. I'm like, oh, and they're like directing us to the side of the road. So they're just directing all traffic to just quickly turn in the very right lane because we're driving on the right, obviously. And we're like, what's going on here? and we get to the cops, and you look in the middle of this intersection. It's like 4 lanes, right? Big intersection. Middle of the intersection is just something human-sized wrapped up in plastic. I was like, damn. And she's like, oh, yeah.
So it didn't look like a car wreck. It looked like a homicide or something?
Oh, yeah. It was something. There was definitely a body in the middle of the road. So,
damn, dude.
And she was like, oh, well, there you go. Nice impression of the area for you. And look,
Did she say that to you in German or English?
Nah, English.
Do you ever speak German with them when you've visited? Like, you might just be like, hey, auntie, you know, like.
Yeah, probably. I do.
Nice.
But like, because my cousins only speak English, so we mainly speak English.
So fuck. Have you scolded them playfully about that?
No, because the oldest one that's older than me, she can still speak pretty perfect German.
Do you converse?
Nah, like we
It's a flex, bro. Why not?
We hear each other's German when we're like talking in Germany. I'm hoping to see them when I go there.
So you've actually, because I know that you've hung out with them a lot. You've been to the States maybe twice where they're there, but you've actually fucked with them in Germany as well. Like you've been around.
Yeah, like we all meet up at my grandparents' kind of thing. So
sick,
that's
dude.
what's happening in July when we go there. I don't know if the older cousins are coming, but I know the youngest one's coming. Told you about him, Travis, my youngest cousin. He's crazy. He's just recently done a 100-mile race, like running. 100-mile, not 100-kilometer, 100-mile, like over 24 hours of running.
So you don't stop.
You don't stop. Well, you have like little rest areas.
He must be stick thin, dude.
He is. And he was running, and I was watching his story from his girlfriend, like giving us updates. And one of the stories, the comment was like, he was literally falling asleep whilst running. How does that fucking happen? You're doing an activity that I don't even like doing for 5 minutes, and you're falling asleep doing it. Cardio.
That's
wild.
I wonder in the running circles, like if they have a code name for that, like, oh, dude, he's zombieing right now, you know?
Yeah, probably.
He's sleepwalking, bro. So
wait.
So okay,
just to go back on that. So my auntie, for her, the body thing was probably not as shocking because obviously she lives there, but she also used to be, she's retired now, but she used to be a
paramedic
night nurse
in
like a pretty rough part of LA. So like when she drove me and my mate Jeremy, when we were there way back in 2014, she was driving us to LA, and it was like a few exits down the highway. And she was like, yeah, this is my work exit. And then if I miss that, you do not want to get off at the next exit because you don't want to be driving through that neighborhood. I'm like, that's so weird to think. Like, you think about Australia, you and I, we could drive anywhere in Sydney by ourselves, get out of the car, I don't know, wearing a tutu and still be okay. Like someone might yell something at you, but you're not going to get beat up or shot, right? But you don't even want to drive through parts of LA. Like that's a big difference.
Bro, I remember years ago, maybe like even 10 years ago, Ipswich in Queensland, like a bit west from Brisbane, anyone who doesn't know. Ipswich was it wasn't LA level crime ridden, but it was a pretty bad place. It was a bit Darrow, you know, a lot of vandalism, a lot of theft. So the mayor at the time installed like a camera on every street. I think it was like 2 cameras to each building, like camera up and down everywhere. And then the crime rate just plummeted.
That's crazy, eh?
Yeah. So I wonder, because obviously whatever they're doing with the police force over there, it's obviously not enough because crimes. But I wonder if, funding, government
the issue
funding.
is funding.
I wonder if they put enough cameras up. I don't think it would make a difference because they just cover their faces and like vandalize. But I wonder how much of a difference. Would there be a 15% reduction, 30% reduction? So I got meaty burps. I wonder if that would even help. Because England, right? London is one of the most heavily saturated cities in the world with cameras. There's more cameras in London than I think in any other city in the world. And I mean, it'd be interesting to look at the statistics of crime there, you know?
Yeah, and I'm not across what's been happening in LA, but I've heard like little snippets, but it's real bad, like with the homelessness and stuff. Like even Venice Beach that used to be like nice and touristy. There's just like tents all along Venice Beach. It's crazy if you have a look at the photos. Like
LA's such a weird place, dude, because you've got high crime rate, high homelessness,
and then Hollywood.
and then you've got Hollywood, and then next to like a homeless person, you'll see this person who's like eating a organic frappe made of like the root of like a gaduki tree, and like I'm getting some sunlight.
With the side of a acai bowl.
Yeah, it's like, it's wow. It's just a wow place. It must just be such a trip to live there and be like, oh, hey, how was your morning? Oh, so good. I went to that new coffee place you recommended. I got that acai bowl. It was so good. Nearly got stabbed by a homeless guy, but you know, I made it to work. I walked past fucking Jennifer Aniston, you know, like, it's just like, what the fuck, dude?
Did I ever tell you the story of when Jeremy and I were in Florida?
No.
So we went to Florida. Jeremy, a mate of mine that we went to school with as well. He's yet to come on the podcast, but we went to Florida and we decided we wanted to find the best place for like chicken wings and ribs, I think it was. So we're just looking this up and we're going by like ratings and we're like, yep, cool. It's over there. So we just like blindly just go, yep, let's just drive there and get some chicken wings. We'll get a big feed there. So we drive there, we park. As soon as I got off the exit, I was like, this is like a very quiet neighborhood. Like it's really weird and quiet.
No cars on the road.
Strange. And I was like, okay, fine. It's cool. It's cool. We're cool. We pull up. We walk into this chicken shop and we're the only white guys in there. And it's pretty packed. Like there's probably 20 people in there. All the staff are definitely not white. So we're the only two white guys. So we're getting all the eyeballs. And we're like, we're going to have to turn this Australian accent up hard. They need to know that we are not locals. And then we were freaking out a little bit. As soon as we got to the front of the line to order, everyone was so fucking friendly. Like it was like nothing.
African Americans, in my experience, have been so cool.
So
like
friendly,
I know you're going to say they're not anything but African Americans, but like my experience with them has been chill as fuck, dude.
Yeah, so chill. But you never know. Like if it's a neighborhood and they're like, what the fuck are you doing here? But we were like, okay, let's just order some food.
Were you like, hey, how you going? Can I get fucking...
Yeah, we turned it up a little bit, but we were trying to just
Jeremy
be like
would have been great. Jeremy's an imposing dude as well, so like, him
like,
with the accent...
As soon as he speaks, I hope he listens to this. As soon as he speaks, though, if he's trying to be like real polite and stuff, he's not very imposing. Like, he'll be like, can I just get the 12 chicken wings and... another chicken, a whole chicken.
No one commented on the accent?
No comments, but...
Was like Tarquasia behind the counter
yes.
like, where you from?
She didn't engage in any small talk, but she had like the look and she was smirking. She was like, these guys are freaking out. And she knew. She was like,
really?
These guys don't know what they're doing. They're like, all right.
Yeah.
So we ate that chicken real quick. And then...
Fuck that, dude. I would have fucked around. When I was in San Francisco... because I like to be on foot. I'm not a car hire guy.
San Francisco especially, that's cool on foot.
San Fran was dope, dude. Yeah, because it was
go
like the windy.
Did you
I was like,
walk the windies?
Like, did the Golden Gate and shit. But I remember I was walking. We were trying to find a burger place, and we were walking through some areas, and then we went past this like school, yellow bus,
nice
kids playing baseball in the pitch. And as we're walking, there was like this black dude coming towards us. He was hood as, like full long basketball jersey down to his knees, tattoos.
Was his crutch like knee level?
Yeah. And he was like, he looked me up and down, I could tell. But at that time, I had like fresh tattoos and shit. And I was like, you know, walking like, and then like, I remember.
Walking like Conor McGregor.
Yeah. And I remember it was just me and him. Like, I was the only one with him on the street. And I was like, well, now's a perfect example of what would happen, you know, like the ball's in his court because I'm chilling. And he was like, walked past and he stopped. He's like, hey man, nice tattoos. I was like, hey man, thanks a lot. And he was like, and he kept walking. And I was like, okay, that's my first real encounter with like a street level African-American dude. So like, I'm
super chill, right?
Yeah. And then every other encounter I had after that was just so chill. Like I go into a store. I remember I went into like a I went into like a clothing store and I was like, I mean, again, this is me loving rap and not having a single care about African American people, but obviously the media painting them in a certain way. So I've got my defenses are up, you know, like I'm like what's true and what's not. But
this is the first time you've been there, right?
Yeah, my time in America, I probably encountered about 20 to 30 different African American people. And
as in interacted with them.
I probably interacted with about 7 or 8 of them, but I interacted with a lot of them, like walk past.
Yeah.
By myself in like daylight or quiet places, narrow places where I could easily be taken advantage of or jumped in. It was always chill. So, but it was funny. The day I went to the Golden Gate Bridge, I was with 2 people. I was with Sean, my brother, and then our old drummer Luke. And I think I told you this story.
Yeah,
but
the Golden Gate story.
I had to shit.
Again. Oh yes.
So we got there.
we needed a number 2 bathroom.
We got to the city side of the Golden Gate, and the other side's where the mountains are, and it leads to like California or wherever it is. And I was like, oh, you know, I kind of need to piss, but on the other side of the Golden Gate, there'll be a toilet there, like there is this side. We got to the other end, there was fucking nothing. So I was like, fellas, I gotta go. So I like sped walked back. I was like, I'll see you guys when I see you. Have fun in San Francisco. I'll see you when I see you. I sped walked.
I need to find this toilet.
Yeah, I think it took us about an hour to get across the Golden Gate Bridge. Not an hour, but like maybe 35 minutes, right?
Yeah, just like leisurely walking, looking at it.
Looking over,
that's cool.
Yeah, it took me, I got over that bridge in like 10 minutes, dude. No shit. I fucking beamed across. I got to the other end and right there was a public toilet. And I ran in there and it was a hexagon. And it was like toilet stalls and then one little basin. But there was like 8 or 9 stalls in there, right? Or maybe 8 toilet stalls. There was no urinal. I went in there, everything was stainless steel, pristine. That was the first thing I noticed.
Really?
I was like, holy shit, this place is pristine. Sat down on the toilet and the place was just pumping with people. People were coming in and out. And I'm not the kind of dude to just shit freely.
Yeah, you're trying to be quiet.
I wasn't trying to blow ass, so I was probably in that toilet for like 20 minutes trying to silently shit and wipe my ass.
And there's so much pressure built up.
Yeah.
You like grab some toilet paper, you put it down into the bowl, you're like, so just instead of splash, you just gotta floop.
Yeah, floop. Yeah, exactly. And you don't want that weird fucking water splashing up in your butthole too, so there's like multi-purpose with the toilet paper. So anyways, I finish up there. I hang around, obviously. Foreign phone. I don't think I had a SIM card to like speak to anyone.
Yeah, back in the day, like you didn't do
like
that.
2012 or 13. So I was like, I can't get hold of Sean or Luke, so I'm just gonna meet him back at the fucking hostel whenever.
Oh shit.
So I ended up catching a cab into like the main city area where there was like a big kind of like a Westfield shopping center because I was like, I love baseball. I want to maybe get like a San Francisco Giants jersey or see what they got. I went in there to this cool sports store. There was like 2 Iranian dudes running the store, but their main employee dude on the field on the floor was like an African American dude, and I was just gonna say American dude, right? I was like, hey man, how you doing? He was so friendly, bro. Like obviously he had to turn it up because he was like, I'm employed by these motherfuckers, man, you know. But he was so cool. He's like, yeah, fucking yeah. Oh, you from Australia? Cool. Shook his hand, showed me I was like, I want that. Help me out. And then I hung around the mall for a little while and then I went home. And then when I went home, I was probably there for about 15 minutes and then Sean and Luke rocked up and they're like, fuck, what happened to you? I was like, oh, I told them the story. And then they said, oh, we went to the same mall that you went to afterwards.
Oh, shit.
And they said, right where I described I bought this jersey, they said, oh, we went there and there was like 2 chicks punching the shit out of each other in front. Yeah, like full getting into it. Like two black chicks were like, fuck you, motherfucker. And I was just like, shit, I missed it, you know?
I missed the chick fight.
That would have been sick.
Damn. Dude, I've got another story, also America, while we're on American stories. Why not?
Sure.
You went to Hollywood?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how I do know how they did it.
Hollywood. Yeah.
But like the people trying to sell their CDs and shit on the street, somehow like at least 2 or 3 people that are trying to like call out to you and they're like, hey man, what's up? Like trying to, what about my CD?
Mm.
They're all just like, the first thing they said was, hey man, Aussie? I was like, what?
They could just tell by
And
your
I'm
clothing.
wearing like a singlet and like not board shorts, but like just singlet and like noisy short. I think they were like checkered shorts or something. So I was like, it's definitely what I'm wearing. But I wonder if they could still tell we're Aussies if we're wearing like.
Is there a part of you that was kind of like, fuck you, dude?
Nah.
Don't identify me.
Some part of me was like, damn, am I that obvious? But another part was like, yeah, that's right. Aussie, you know us because we're cool. We're cool. You love us.
One of the dudes at my job, my current job, he's an Irish fella. My first week, it was actually a chick's last week. So she finished on the Friday. So we went out for, it was kind of like a multiple thing, like celebrate.
New guys, yep.
And then, and I was sitting next to the two. It was a gal and a guy, and I was like, oh yeah, we're both from Ireland. They're both from Ireland. I was like, oh yeah, and they're like, oh, where are you from? I was like, oh, I'm Aussie, but like, I've got like a Scottish, Welsh, German background. And they were like, and this Irish guy was like, oh, as soon as I saw you walk into the thing, man, I thought maybe you're like American or Canadian.
Real?
I was like, me, really? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, oh man, I've got people tell me I look Irish because sometimes when my beard's a bit grown out, I look, and this and that. And they're like, no way, I thought you were. And I was like, American or Canadian? American Canadian is either English or Irish itself. Like they're not their own brand. Like maybe they might have a bit of like Scandinavian.
They're their own
as
brand
well.
now, surely, right? After hundreds of years.
It's a melting pot in America, right? Like, I wish I could say, look, if my beard's fully grown out, maybe I'll look a bit more of the Isle of Britain kind of thing. Like you could say I'm Irish.
Well, you got
English,
like the brown
Scottish.
and bit of ginge in your beard.
Yeah.
So 100% you would think
But
United Kingdom somewhere.
yeah, but like if my beard was shaved, like I always assumed my nose was either similar to Germanic people or maybe a bit of like, you reckon?
That's what gives me away.
Yeah.
The
Do you
fucking
think I'm on the
Germanic nose.
same boat as you with the Germanic?
Nah, I think mine's way larger.
Yeah. But what do you think of the arch?
I get it.
Do you think this looks a bit pointy? Do you think this is more of the English nose, or do you think it's a bit more in the German aspect?
I don't know
what the fuck I look like.
Yeah, I don't think
That's
you
what I'm
look very
concerned about.
English.
Yeah, neither
It would
do I.
either be more Irish or somewhere else in Europe because you got too big of a jaw. I feel like English is more smaller jaws.
So I got the jaw is large, but it's not sharp in the German aspect. It's a bit rounder
rather than the pointy jaw.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe when I was young, I had a very pointy jaw when I was younger. So maybe I'm just a bit chunky.
It's just if you leaned out, you probably get the corners back.
Yeah. But yeah, it was an interesting thing to hear because I was like, I always just assume anyone would look at me and go, oh yeah, because any Australian you speak to is fucking. It's rare that you find an Australian who's like, oh no, dude, I'm like specifically English and Norwegian. You know, like it's either England, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, France, maybe Dutch, maybe German.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I assumed this is why I went directly to what I was wearing and my overall look, that they guessed I was Aussie, because my face doesn't look like an Australian face.
Dude, you look purely German.
Yeah, I've got a very German face, so it must have been my get-up where they were like,
you should see my boss.
This guy.
She looks like a
very German.
Oh yeah, very German.
Es wird keine Poolparty geben.
Big blue eyes, yeah, big time.
Blue eyes.
Yeah,
I don't have that.
Blonde hair, lovely human being, but like very, yeah.
Es wird keine Poolparty geben.
Yeah,
For anyone that doesn't know what that is one of the phrases Joel's known for the longest time. So it means there will be no pool party. Es wird keine Poolparty geben.
There's also Das Juden verboten as well.
Whoa. that one you've got from movies. But
yeah.
did you get that from me, or you knew that already and then you
Das Juden
confirmed it?
Verboten.
No, the pool party.
I got that from Dodgeball. David Hasselhoff says it to the German team.
And because I remember you confirming it with me in school.
And you just laughing hysterically.
And then I remember you going up to my sister in high school and just being like, "Es wird keine Poolparty geben." You did that, right? You did that.
Of course I did, yeah.
Of course.
I saw who did I see? I saw an influential person on Instagram recently post the main event. Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Zuckerberg versus Musk.
Yes.
I didn't know if it was a fake or not, so it's going ahead?
Well, I have no idea. I didn't know whether it was a fake either. Did you send that to me? Yes, you sent it to me.
Sent it to you.
The completely AI images,
Poster,
right?
yeah.
Like them going, that's not a real photo.
Let's be honest, like Musk could get some serious training. Zuckerberg would probably get serious training as well. But
they both are decently trained.
But one
I
would be quite I think Zuckerberg would probably have the agility, right?
Got the
Zuckerberg would probably
agility.
get on him and the youth.
He's trained a lot of jujitsu, Zuckerberg. He's done like training sessions with like Lex Friedman, you know, the podcast guy?
Yeah. So is this boxing or MMA? I can't recall.
I have no idea.
If it's MMA, bro, it's going to be a fucking bloodbath.
You reckon?
Yeah. Throwing elbows at each other?
Do you think if you were them, right, and you've agreed to this and now it's happening, would you be like, people are going to be laughing at us. They're going to be like, oh, look at these two rich guys trying to fight.
No way, dude, because every YouTuber's doing, look at Jake Paul. Look at Jake Paul, bro. He's
Is he about to fight?
He's almost he's fighting
about to
Mike
fight
Tyson. Oh, dude. Have you seen the videos of Tyson training?
In his 60s.
Bro.
He's so fast still.
Jake Paul, I admit, Jake Paul has progressed well. But if he does not keep if he's able to keep Mike at a distance, which is almost impossible, then he may have a chance, but Mike's gonna fucking kill him.
I fucking really hope Mike just knocks him the fuck out. That would be hilarious and wonderful at the same time.
Yeah.
Even though I don't follow the sport much, but like I watch Rogan clips and Rogan is in the sport, right? He knows what the fuck he's talking about. And just the way he talks about Jake, that's where I get my respect from, because he's like, that guy can fight. Like, he's got a punch on him. He can fight. He knows what he's doing. And so I'm like, okay, I'll give him some respect. If I didn't hear those comments, I'd just be like, oh my God, this fucking YouTuber, fuck off.
Yeah.
But due to that description from Rogan, like I respect that. So I'm like, okay, he might have a chance, but I just hope Tyson just clocks one good punch on him and it'll just be
lights out. Boxing is such a wonderful sport. It's not like, it's such a primitive sport, and we're looking at this at the perspective of an alien watching us, right? It's just two monkeys smashing each other to get it's so
with their fists.
It's so. But if you've trained for 15 or 20 years in boxing and you're fighting another person who's trained the same, people from the outside perspective, maybe a woman who's not very into active sports, like that kind of violent thing. I say a woman because it's easier to just say a woman, not a dude. Even men, some men. When you watch it, you're just like, oh, he's letting him hit him too much. Oh, he's this and that. But when you watch it, it's a dance.
I'm probably in the middle there.
No,
because I watch it and I'm like, oh God damn.
Watch one breakdown video of two guys fighting. Like watch one video of a guy like notice here.
I've watched a lot of
here how blah blah
fights.
blah. Yeah. But watch a video of a guy breaking down a technique one boxer's using against another, and then you'll see, dude, it is an extreme art. Like you could look at a skier or a snowboarder and say like an Olympics, like a Winter Olympics snowboarding, and go, oh, that guy did more flips than that other guy. Why didn't that guy do more flips? Damn. And think you're just looking at it as the physical thing, but the training and the mentality that goes into that's huge. So boxing is a beautiful poetic dance, as violent as it can be. But the problem with boxing is it's got such a bad history of corruption and bribery But one thing, a lot of people say, oh, Jake Paul is paying these people off, or if Mike Tyson takes a dive, or falls and gets knocked out, we know that Jake Paul paid him. I don't think Jake Paul's at that level where he would even do that to his career. Like, I think Jake Paul's honest in his fights,
Do you
but
think
most
also-
boxing fights are fucking rigged, dude. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of sports, I have the feeling, could be, a lot of high-level sports could be partially riggery. You know what I'm saying? But
Riggery, yeah.
but do you think also Jake Paul is in a position to be able to do that? Like, would Tyson agree to that for the right amount of money? Or do you think Tyson would be like, nah, fuck this kid. I'm going to train again. And I'm going to fucking show this kid what's up.
You never know. Like, I like to think that Mike Tyson's honorable.
Because they were talking about this months and months ago, right? Because I remember hearing Rogan talk about it. And Rogan had a little bit of concern for Tyson because he's like, I don't know about whether he should get back into it. Like, the age does make a difference. Like,
He looks sharp, but Jake Paul's an athlete, bro.
Yeah, but you retire from boxing fairly early. Like, it's not a good thing for older folk to be knocked that hard in the fucking head. It's the same with any elite sport. People retire early. Like, you and I, we're old if we were tennis players.
Yeah.
If we were tennis players, our career is basically done.
If we started to box now, we'd never make it professional because they'd be like, you started in your 30s, that's too late. I remember Israel Adesanya started boxing when he was 18, and some people were like, oh, fuck, you're getting into it now? I started to fight the UFC fighter.
How old was Jake Paul? Older than 18.
Oh, Jake Paul's got to be, 27 or 28 now? So he's been doing this
He's
for
only been doing it for
6 years or so.
Not even, I reckon.
But I mean, he's got the money to back him, you know? Not all of us have the.
Like, he's a
kinda,
YouTuber.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. They have got so much money where they are like,
nutrition.
I want to do this,
Yeah.
and then they can just 100% focus. Whereas some boxers, if they're doing it young, they're coming up from nothing, right? So they're like,
that's a better approach, though, right? That's a hungry
they're like
approach.
grinding to get there. Whereas these guys are like, what else can I do?
Yeah,
I've got
which
so much money.
which I also can't shit on. Like,
nah, if they're rich and they've got everything, they could buy anything they want, they could live any life they want, and they're still like, nah, I want to do fighting and like make a name for myself that way. It speaks to their character as well. Like,
yeah,
you
got something to prove, right?
Have you seen that meme where it's like, my year 3 teacher, don't worry about him. He will never amount to any. Don't worry about your bully. He'll never amount to anything. And there's like my literal year 3 bully, and it's Jake Paul, just like rolling in cash.
Yeah, I think it's easy to be an average Joe dude and be sitting in a bar with a friend, and then you're watching a celebrity on TV and be like, man, look at this asshole. Look, I love Ryan Gosling. I'm just going to use him as an example, but like, look at Ryan Gosling. I fucking knocked that.
Why are you picking on Ken?
Yeah. But I knocked that dude out, right? Fuck that guy. So like, I think maybe Jake Paul took that approach to heart, where he's like, you know, I can do a lot of things with my money, but like, I'm taking the warrior approach. Like, that's one thing I do respect about Jake Paul. Like, you can make fun of him. Yes, he's choosing non-boxers as opponents. Yes, he's choosing ex-boxers or out-of-date people. Obviously, he knows the limits to his ability, which is understandable.
Well, he's playing to where he knows he can win.
Exactly.
Right?
And that is a very cowardly, and that's obviously still the reason why I dislike him. But the fact that he has chosen to take punishment, not just be punched in the face, but physically punish his body to get to that pedigree of fighting level where he can do 10 rounds, where he can take punishment, take shots to the ribs, take shots to the face. I got to respect him for that.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to discount that either. Yeah, because I want to say, like, yes, he's choosing where he can win, but it would also be stupid if he was like, oh, I started late, I'm only at this level, but I want to fight elite boxers that have been doing it for their entire life. That would be stupid as well. So he's obviously doing it in an intelligent way. He's like, I'm going to pick the right opponents where it's a fair match and I've got a chance of winning.
For sure.
But I mean, it's probably too much chance of winning because is he undefeated still? Most of them by knockout.
No, he lost to Tyson Fury. Do you know the big
Oh yes,
Tyson Fury's brother?
Did he
Tommy
fight him?
Fury. He fought Tommy Fury, his
Tommy
younger
Fury.
brother.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, change the topic real quick. So I've moved into a new place, and the place I'm staying at has a pool and sauna.
Oh,
They've got a spa, but the spa's empty. Yeah, there's signs.
That's what you're going to be doing. It's rainy weather all weekend. You do pool and sauna.
Bro, there's signs everywhere saying, "Do not bring anyone who isn't a guest in here. This place is under surveillance." But I'm like, fuck off.
Who isn't a guest?
Who doesn't stay here.
Who doesn't live here.
Yeah, but bro, you'll be fine. Come on, you and him
but like
come on
you
in.
bring one mate. That's like, what are
yeah,
they gonna say?
exactly. But bro, you go in there, you press a button on the sauna, and it goes, "Here's a 30-minute session." You've got the water on the coals. I've been going every day that I haven't gone to the gym this week. I've gone in there instead.
Get fucked, really?
Buckets of sweat. You hop out.
It's
you hop
more
in the
saunas
shower.
than I've done in my life.
Cold shower, and then I jump in the pool. I get out of the pool and I sit there. And the beautiful thing is, right across from me is like a little gym. It's got like 3 treadmills, 2 cycles, like a pull down machine, lap machine, and stuff. I think I've finally reached the point where. Thank you. I think I've finally reached the point where
that's a fidget cube, by the way, everyone. I just passed Joel a fidget cube, and it's fucking phenomenal.
You've left it warm for me. Thank you.
The spinny
Tag
one,
team.
man. The spinny one is my favorite. I'll do that. No,
Yeah.
other one. The little spinning.
Oh, that's
it.
good.
I'm there all day.
I'm reversing it. Clockwise, counterclockwise. I've got 2. Me personally, I have extremes. So there's no happy medium for me. I have 2 extremes. One, I'm very quiet, very sullen.
Fidget cube sullen.
And the other side of me is very hyperactive, very silly, doesn't consider what he's saying, says stupid shit on impulse. I'm very impulsive. That's the 2 sides of me. There's no in between. I blame it on the ADHD, but that is me. Most of the time you get because I'm happy because I'm around Phil. I love you. Philip's my man. I'm happy to be around you. I'm excited whenever I see you because I know, I can be myself. So you get the best part of me. But at other times, you said this, dude, you're very chill right now. That's the other part of me. Dude, I put on a mask all the time because
what are you trying to say?
the lower end of me, if I didn't put a mask on, you'd think I'm a fucking psycho.
Nah.
You could but you could say jokes and say things and I'd be like, ouch.
Oh, right.
But I choose
and that's the part
I
you're
choose to go
masking. Right.
yeah. That's all fake. It's all fake, dude.
Yeah, but everyone's like that when they're
I know,
in
but
a low mood. Right?
Yeah, but mine's really bad.
Right.
For
So
the-
you're just saying it's that to an extreme.
This is why for a long time I thought I might have been a sociopath.
Really?
Like I really thought, like I feel nothing all the time unless it benefits me in some way.
Oh shit, that is kind of psycho.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
sociopath, psychopath. Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
Psychopath
like I
mentality?
thought I was very much a psychopath, and then when I think about animal cruelty and things, I'm like, nah, I care way too much about. I'm too empathetic about things to be like that. But when,
but again,
if
it
something
doesn't have
happened,
to- it's
if
not black and
something-
white.
Yeah.
It is a spectrum.
Yeah,
so you
it
might
is
be
a
like, there
spectrum.
is probably a part of you that's like, part of me is like something where I can just completely switch off emotions.
Yeah.
And if you're aware of that, that's totally fine, right?
Yeah, being self-aware is a good thing, right?
If you're
I
aware
hope
of
so.
part of me is very cold and I can just switch off emotions, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like that's, like we've said throughout history, psychopaths in particular, the extreme version of that, very useful, right?
Yeah.
In like the Viking days, hey, we need you to go in there and rape and pillage. And they'd be
Yeah.
like, yep, I feel nothing.
Exactly. I wish people would study. I wish we
they
could get
do.
a psychologist to study what we say because I think
Oh, what we say?
despite the fact that we talk a lot of shit, I think we've brought up some really interesting topics.
We-
and we've had some interesting opinions on
We
things.
need to get some traction on this podcast, and then we need to get some people in that have studied psychology and things like that. And we need to like ask them. We'll get them to listen to a few episodes.
Let's
and be
get
like,
some people on, bro.
and
You've
we'll
got
be
a couple of guests that we need to line up. Let's line someone up next week.
Yeah, I just don't have anyone that has that kind of specialty, but we've got some good guests there.
For sure.
They're great fun guys.
Yeah.
Fun guys.
But for me, I'm not completely heartless, but for instance, like if you
spectrum, man.
Yeah, it's a
Can
spectrum.
be heartless in
Yeah.
certain ways and
Yeah.
can be real empathetic in others.
I don't know. Some people just have a better grasp of like outside empathy.
Here's another thing that joins onto this topic. Specific jobs, right? Paramedic. I could never, ever be a fucking
Because you're too
paramedic.
empathetic.
I would love to be because I'd be like, oh my God, helping people. But if I went to a fucking scene where there's been a big car crash and I've like trying to save someone and they die, I would fucking, my brain would kill me for months. I'd be like, what if I had tried to reach into the wound 2 seconds earlier and I had managed to grab the artery? Like my brain would play so many what ifs of like,
Right.
why did that person die while I was trying to save him? You know, that's the kind of shit where I could never be that kind of job. Whereas someone that's a different mindset that can disconnect from that would be way better and way more useful
That's me.
in that job, which is what you would be.
I don't know where in my life I switched off from that because I was the most emotional, happy-go-lucky kid. Like I felt everything for everyone, and then at some point I lost that.
It's lots of different things.
I
Lots of different things.
I need
for
to
lots of
bring it
different
back.
People.
Yeah. I need to feel
It'll be-
cause yours is instinctual, right? If I could get my emotions back to being it's not something. It sounds
But
so.
it's not something you should chase either. It should just be something where you're like, okay, this is how I am, and what of that can you use to your advantage? Like what I just said. What of that could be useful in certain things that would be completely shit if it was the opposite? Like if you're too empathetic and emotional, you'd be shit at these things. Whereas if you're not, you'd be great at these things.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. See, the thing with me is, as horrible as it sounds, if I was the person reaching into the wound to try to pinch the artery and I couldn't, I would feel nothing. I would just,
Really?
I'd just sit there. Oh, I'd be like, this person died. I think no. You
So
know what?
I think of
me
this-
me saying this right now, I do have a pang of
Yeah.
I do have a bit of a rock in my throat, but that's for the fact that the person's died. You know, that person probably had great inhibitions. That hurts.
The
That
thing I think
hurts.
of,
But the thing that for me is like, I would be more concerned of how many times am I going to let people die until I get fired,
until you get fired.
or
That's
like
where you go. Yeah.
yeah,
okay.
is like, am I capable of doing this? It's more of like a self-reflection on myself. Is like, it's not a, I just lost a life. Because I know in my heart, I've been trained. I'm a vet. I've been doing this for 3 years, 4 years. I've saved 65 out of 100 people. Half of it's to do with them. Half of it's to do with my abilities. If I know I've done the best I can, and I couldn't pinch that artery and I couldn't get to it and I've lost them,
Then
it
nobody
hurts.
else could have.
Yeah, it hurts, but that's the way it is. And then I would
That's
personally,
brilliant, dude.
I would personally go to the family and go, I did my best. I'm so sorry. And I would hug them and cry with them. But I don't feel anything regarding,
I could,
I
should have, could have, would have. Yeah.
I wouldn't let myself feel that, have that cloud above my head
That's
for the
brilliant.
next couple of weeks.
That's brilliant.
I'm too efficient.
That's brilliant though, because you're like, okay, I know that I am the best that this person could get.
Mhm.
Whereas I'm like, what if I was not the person? What if someone else could have saved them? You know, that's where my brain goes.
Bro, imagine if people could splice. So in Dragon Ball Z, the cartoon, they have this thing, they wear these rings. One person wears one ring on their right ear, another person on the left.
And they can use different skills from a different.
No, they
two
call
people?
it, I can't remember what they call it, but it's like they do this dance and they go fusion. They go fusion, ha! And I go that side, you go that side, our fingertips touch. They do like a dance and then they combine their energy together and they morph into one person and it's like the best of both. You know, it's like one
yeah,
brain.
yeah.
Fuck. I feel like sometimes I just wish, like, you know, it's like you meet someone like you and David, for instance. You and David or you and Jackie, right? Let's just go you and David for now because like we'll keep the gender neutral.
We won't complicate that
But it's
in
just
this
like
complicated
the
world.
best parts of you that overshadow the best parts of David, and then you combine. It's just like you just become like an ultimate person. You know how
Yeah.
how awesome of an idea is that?
Yeah,
Like to just
that's cool.
to morph for a day. Yeah.
Do you know what I always think of when I think of, which is why I said the pinching the artery thing? There's a scene in,
Black Hawk Down.
is it Black Hawk Down, where they're trying to get the guy's artery in the leg,
Yeah.
and they can't, and they're giving him morphine shots, and they look at each other and they're like, "He gonna die," and they're just telling him like, "You're gonna be fine. It's all good. It's all good." He's
Josh
like, "Did you get
Hartnett.
it? Did you get it?"
Yeah,
And
he's
they're just
like,
looking at each other, and they all know this guy's gonna die, but we
Yeah.
just got to make him feel comfortable.
he clamps the artery, but
Yeah.
it keeps slipping
Yeah, it
out, and
keeps
he's just
slipping.
like, the carotid, and he's like
That's
real
what I think
pale,
about.
and he's like, tell my parents I fought hard today.
Yeah,
He's like, I will.
Yeah,
I love that you've seen Black Hawk Down.
that's the scene, dude. And
Fuck yeah,
that's
dude.
where I
Dude,
put
Black Hawk Down, baby.
That's where I put myself, and I go, I could never do that.
Well, that's a different circumstance because that's a friend.
Yeah,
If I was,
but I'm just putting
Yeah.
that into, like, if that was a motorcycle accident, and I'm there, and I'm trying to save the dude, and I'm the one that has to be like, no, you're gonna be all fine, and I know he about to be gone. Like, that's gonna fuck me up.
Oh yeah, that's pain. I'm not.
That's gonna fuck me up.
There's no
I'm
mask.
gonna be
here.
like, okay,
I agree.
first day on the job, I quit.
Yeah. Fuck, dude, that is painful. First day as well. Imagine that was your first day.
Imagine that. It wouldn't be your first day. They'd probably ease you into it.
Bro, do you remember Elijah from the Killer Kennedy videos?
Yeah.
The guy, my arms dealer.
the one that I
Good for
fucking
smoking caps.
The one that Jeremy smashes a hammer
Yeah.
across the face. Yeah.
Elijah's mum was a fucking paramedic.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I remember one day because Elijah lived in Meadowbrook, right around the corner from Logan Hospital, and I remember one day Elijah and I were waiting to be picked up from I think we had like some kind of party we were going to. She was like, "I'll drop you off." Like she was so cool, and I remember we were waiting for ages, and then she finally picked us up. She's like, "Oh, sorry, fellas, we had an old guy who was tired of having to burden his family." Of having to come and check up on him every now and then because he was an old dude. He didn't want to get put in a home, but he didn't want the family to be burdened by checking in on him. 22 Magnum blew his. Yeah. She's like, oh, there was brains on the wall and we had to pick up skull fragments. And the way I'll never forget this, dude. I think about when you started talking about paramedics, she came to my head straight away. I never forget she was so blasé about it. It was like her saying, sorry I'm late, fellas. I was working in the office today and these people kept calling the phone.
Yeah.
She was that blasé about it. And I remember thinking to myself, I think I even told Elijah a couple of times, I was like, bro, your mum's fucking tough as nails.
Yeah.
She had a warmth about her, but tough as fucking nails.
Yeah.
You got to, right?
It's like saying I was trying to. You're a fucking mechanic. I was trying to fix this car. There was oil everywhere. There's fucking brains everywhere.
Yeah. It's just.
That's wild, dude.
I mean, obviously, because you and I have the theory, and I share this theory with you as well, that the idea of a psychopath comes from it's hereditary, right? Like a part of you at some point, you know, it was so efficient through your ancestry, and then it gets to you, and it's just like, what outlet do you have to unleash this highly efficient evolutionary
with no
traits,
emotions attached.
Yeah. It's like we look at it as this horrible, scary, nasty thing, but society hangs in by a thread every day, right? So society compared to evolution is a crazy thing. Society
is this small
compared to evolution. Yeah, like society is our construct. And it is an amazing thing. And the fact that it's cohesive.
Why we get to do this and we get to chill out in a room with aircon outside and whatever.
Chucking spears at people, and it's an amazing thing. But I think we really need to respect evolution and maybe we need to do some kind of more research on how DNA and cells or whatever reproductive kind of stuff influences our lives. But we can't just look at someone and go, you killed 16 people and ate a couple of people. I know it's horrible. I'm not. It sounds like I'm defending Jeffrey Dahmer or something.
Yeah,
but
the problem there is the motive.
Right.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Don't be doing that.
Yeah. The motive is why are you doing that, but also why do you feel you need to do that?
Yeah.
But also, so it's like,
which is where the wrong is. It's not the fact that they don't feel anything doing it, but it's the fact that they wanted to do it
Yeah.
or they were impulsed to do it
yeah,
when that person has done nothing wrong to you. That's the problem, right?
yeah,
Being the psychopath with no empathy isn't the problem if you never have any crazy thoughts that wants to go and kill someone.
like the scientist who did the experiment. You
Yeah.
found out he was
He was
exactly.
himself.
There's got to be triggers, right? But here's my question to you: is let's think of Elijah's mother for a second. How much of that psycho gene, whether there is even there, do you think plays a part, or do you think it's more of her upbringing that? Because like you and I have had different upbringings. We've grew up in the same area, went to the same school, but you had a bit more of a nurturing, comforting upbringing where mine was a bit more colder, sterner, do this, do that, right? So, and obviously it's reflected in the way you and I describe how we'd approach a situation. You would be a bit more empathetic. I'd be a bit more clinical and sterile in my thinking. So how much of I wonder, and I've pondered this a lot, I wonder how much of Elijah's mother's upbringing is associated more with my upbringing, or maybe she has a bit of that psycho gene, you know?
It's probably a bit of both. And then
You reckon?
not just upbringing, but then also mindset, getting into that sort of career. And it's not like in her first year, she would have been blasé about that.
For sure.
She would have been distraught. She would have gone through some fucking
Good point.
training, mind training,
Conditioning.
in quotations, conditioning.
Pain conditioning.
Yeah. Where she would have come home numb, like
Oh, yeah.
fucked up, and just being like, holy shit, what have I done today?
But also you got to think about what kept her doing it. There's got to be
Well,
there's got to be an
obviously-
impulse,
there's
right? There's
obviously-
got to be a drive.
There's obviously rewarding parts to it. Like there'll be days where you're like, holy shit.
I
what the
saved
fuck?
someone.
But there'll be days where you've probably saved multiple people, where you've probably gone, that person was in real strife and we were there and we made them get through it.
So
That's
here's
probably most days, actually.
yeah.
And then there'll be the crazy days where it's like, what the fuck just happened?
So it's like now that we're introducing maybe a third sequence. So you've got psychogene,
Upbringing.
which might have been a bit chaotic, and now you've got a thrill seeker, or
Someone that wants to help people but has to go through that conditioning.
maybe not help people. More, what's the word I'm looking for? Is like when someone wants acceptance. What's the word I'm looking for? Someone wants validation. This may not necessarily be a bang up job in that job, Phil, validation, but this might be a personal validation, as in maybe her mother died. Maybe she had issues with.
Maybe she's seen some shit.
Maybe she's seen some shit. Maybe her favorite puppy died and she couldn't do anything about it or anything. So her version of, I couldn't save this thing, but I could save these people. This is that drug, that validation.
That's it.
Close
to that.
psychology.
Ponder on that, guys. Ponder. We got to get some psychologists on. But thank you for listening, and I hope you guys do good things.